Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hopefully everyone's doing well. So earlier on, I did a video about the undercard of the Jake Paul Gervonta Tank Davis fight. And partly throughout that conversation, I said, it's a pity they couldn't get some heavyweights on the undercard. Because I always think if you add a couple of heavyweights, it sort of enhances the card. I'm a fan of heavyweight boxing. And I said, that heavyweights, they're not fighting frequently enough. And then I thought, maybe I'm talking out of my south end. Maybe it was my imagination. So what I did over lunchtime here is I went through the top 20 heavyweights according to Boxrec. Now, of course, the Ring magazine will be different, the WBC will be different, the WBA will be different, the IBO will be different. IBF will be different, and all the alphabet groups will be different. But I just looked at Boxrec, right? The top 20. So your mileage may vary on whether you think this is the top 20 or not, but it's what Boxrec says. And I pulled up the date of their last fight. And, I'll leave it up to you, right? I'm going to go through these fighters, and I'll just put the date of their last fight. And then you can figure out whether you think that people are active enough, or if, like me, you think, they should be more active. Anyhow, I'd be really interested to know what you think. And before I get underway, we've lost a bunch of subscribers of late, like 5 or 6 a day in some cases. And I have read that YouTube is not putting boxing channels forward very much, not promoting them very much. Of course, also some people, they decide they don't want to watch a particular channel, and that's, fine, right? I mean, I've done the same thing myself. I've subscribed to channels in different subjects, and I thought, I never really watched them, so I unsubscribe. But if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, could you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? And if you are a subscriber and you like this channel, can you maybe mention to your friends? It really would help me out a lot. And also, apparently, YouTube does count how many thumbs up. So if you could, provided you do like, if you could hit the like button, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that. Anyways, without further ado, let's get underway. So, Boxrec top 20. Nobody else is top 20. Alexander Usyk. He last fought July the 19th, 2025. So, not so long ago, and he has said he's got an injury, etc. so forth. Ajit Kabayel is rated number 2 according to Boxrec. Last fought February 22nd, 25. So, time is marching on. It'd be really good to see him out again. Daniel Dubois, of course, rated number 3. Fought against Usyk and lost July the 19th. If it was me, I'd be saying it's time for him to get an outing again. Joe Parker, now we know that Joe Parker's got an upcoming fight with Fabio Wardley, but Joe Parker hasn't fought since February the 22nd, 2025, and that was a 1-round clip of a very out of condition Martin Bakole, right? Boxrec number 5, Lawrence Okolie, or as comedians say, Hugoli. He hasn't fought since July the 19th, 2025. Again, I'd be saying, let's get a bit of a move on, right? Activity is everything as far as a fan, I'm concerned, right? Fabio Wardley last fought June the 6th, 2025, but that was his outing against Justice Hooney. And well, of course, he's fighting in October. Tyson Fury is still rated by Boxrec as, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7. He hasn't fought since December the 21st, 2024. Has he retired? Who knows? Murat Gassiev hasn't fought since August the 23rd, 2025. Only a month or so. That's active. Hrgovic last fought August the 16th, 25. That's active. Michael Hunter, he hasn't fought since December the 12th of last year. So what's he doing? Like, these are prize fighters. They're not drawing a salary. You know, you'd think that if you're a prize fighter, you'd be out there, you know, fighting, right? Bacoli, last fought May the 3rd, 2025, as did F.A. Ajagba. They fought against each other. But again, May, June, July, August, September, 4 months and change, you know. Like, I grew up at a time when fighters were fighting very frequently. So I'm a little bit biased, but it'd be good to see people being out. Chisora last fought in February. Torrance last fought on April the 5th. I think he fought against Guido Vianella. Riakpor, May the 3rd. Pulev, December the 12th last year. I'm not sure if Pulev is retired or not. I keep hearing about Pulev fighting. Zhile Zhang, February the 22nd, 25. Moses Atoma, he had an outing recently. But as a young prospect, 13-0, you'd think they'd be getting him out every month? Every 5 weeks? Really? Jared Anderson. Now, what is with Jared Anderson? He hasn't fought since February the 14th, 2025. And I see nothing on his docket, like nothing scheduled for him. And then 20th, according to Boxrec, is Frank Sanchez. Last fought February the 22nd, 25. You know, we say that inactivity kills. And I'm looking at some of these dates and I'm thinking these guys should be out fighting. And then, of course, we've got, you know, the classic big names like AJ, Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz. Like, where are these guys? And I understand the business side of the house. Oh, I'm not going to fight for X 100,000 or X $1 million. But that doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. Because let's say, for example, you're a top fighter and you're expecting to get, I don't know, $5 million. And you're holding out for that money. I'm just picking this number out of thin air, right? And you can't get $5 million. But it's not like you're getting 4.5 for not fighting. You're getting sweet square root of Fanny Adams for not fighting. So is it a case that these guys have already made their money? They've made their bag. And they're like, well, I'm kind of done now. I don't need any money. I'm not going to bother to train and go in the ring and get hurt. Or is it a case of, like, what is the problem in getting a fighter out every 3 months? Would that be not unreasonable? I mean, trust me, I get it. Like Daniel Dubois, he made, is it 35 million pounds? It was a huge amount of money, life-changing, generational wealth. And I could totally get it if he said, you know what, I'm done. I don't really want to fight anymore. And I've got more money than I can ever spend, more money than my kids will spend. My dad will do his best to spend it. But hey, you know. But I'm thinking of like how much money has Jared Anderson made? Has he made so much that he's just sitting back and saying, I'm done? And if so, and here's where it sort of gets interesting, are we paying boxers too much money? I mean, I've always been in favor of giving fighters as much money as possible. It's a massively dangerous sport. People can and do lose their life in the ring. But are we just sort of like losing something here? Are people not really wanting to fight? It's easy for me to say, you know, retired guy making a YouTube channel and doing a bit of work outside. I'm a million miles removed from training to get in shape for a fight. And I might be talking out of my tail. But what do you guys think? Like this level of activity, or as I see it, inactivity, is sort of like, you know, as a fan, I'm sort of almost begin to lose interest, right? Like if I haven't seen a fighter fight for, you know, a few months, I'm thinking, well, where is he? I mean, Like Martin Bacoli, right? And I'm not just picking on Martin Bacoli. If you're a Bacoli fan, please don't think I'm picking on your guy. But like, he hasn't fought since May the 3rd, so like get out there. Like, find somebody. You know, make a phone call and say to Jared Anderson, hey, do you want to run it back? Probably Jared Anderson doesn't want to run it back. But, like, why not Zhilei Zhang and Martin Bacoli? Zhang hasn't fought since February. Bacoli hasn't fought since May. So maybe they don't get, I don't know what they're worth, right? But like, let's say for argument's sake, bear with me, that they would normally be worth X million dollars each. Well, why don't they say, well, look, you know what? We're not actually doing anything right now. Why don't we put a fight on? And even if we only get a couple of $100,000 each, it's better than a poke in the eye with a hot cigarette, right? I mean, I don't really get it. And maybe it's because I just am not sufficiently clued in, that I don't really understand the business. But, you know, like F.A. Ajagba and Richard Riakporhe, why don't they just fight? They both last fought in May. Like, fight. Like, you know, I don't get it. And as a fan, it gets a little bit frustrating, right? I mean, I understand maybe the top guys are jockeying for this, you know, split in the belts and all that sort of stuff. But guys lower down in the batting order, honestly, they may as well be fighting. Unless it is the case that they've just got so much money, they're thinking, I'm done now. I mean, like if somebody gave me $5 million, I mean, I wouldn't work a day in my life. Well, then again, I don't work. So, but no, I'd be paying somebody to go and cut my logs probably. And, you know, I'd be sitting around, eating, I don't know, eating ice cream all day. Let me know what you think. Do you think that we're onto something here? And it's just, I'm just picking on the heavyweight division, but it could be true of all the divisions, to be honest with you. You know, this inactivity. Why are boxers not fighting more frequently? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you think I'm full of, you know, let me know. You won't be the first person to say I'm full of it, but let me know what you think. Cheers. Thanks for watching. And sorry to remind you again, if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye-bye.